Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Vickie with VJ Designs. How are ya? Hey, I am going to put together, do the cover for this journal that I'm working on. It's a challenge journal for Dearjuliejulie channel. And I'm not going to show you the journal yet, but I want to work on the cover. I really would like to keep my video to 20 minutes. I don't know if that's going to happen. But, so as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I usually make about 3 signatures in my journals. Anywhere from, 10 to 12 pages or so. And this is my favorite way of putting them together since I saw Bitty Pitty do this. And she learned it from Treasure Books. So I went over to Treasure Books and watched her too. It's amazing. I think they call it the easiest journal ever or something like that. So I will give you the links to those videos below. So, what I did was I took, okay, so this was the first page of my signature. So you take a piece of plain, I just use white, cardstock, fold it in half and wrap it around, okay? You do that on each signature because these are going to get glued together and you don't want to be gluing your nice pages together. So this is what I have done. And so on the inside, you put a nice piece of paper that will coordinate with your first page. And you will not see these pages. So here we go. What you want to do is glue each one of these signatures together, and you leave a strip about, I don't know, 1.5 inches all the way down on the edge, okay, on the spine edge. So for this, I'm going to use this Tombow glue, and hopefully this will come out okay. This works really well. And you kind of want to watch it if you go over the edge. You're not gluing your pages together. So when you're done, you want to check that. Make sure your edges are not glued together, or your pages aren't glued together. Just want to make sure you've got good glue coverage on here. And you're leaving about 1.5 inches down the side. Okay. So this is my, let's see, I want to make sure I got the right one. This is my 3rd signature. This is my middle one. So I want to glue these together, okay? So just line them up. And then I take these 2, I can get a hold of them, the 2 center pages, and line up the edges. To make sure they're together. Okay. As long as they're together, you're going to be okay. Just press that down. Okay. So there, you've got the first 2 put together. And what I didn't say was that each signature, okay, gets, like this is the number 1 signature, okay? It gets sewn in to this white sheet. So each signature gets sewn separately. So it doesn't really matter if it lines up with the next signature because they're not sewn in to the spine. This is so cool. And I love doing it this way because I'll show you when I'm done here. When you open them, they open up really flat, no matter how big they are. So here's goes the last one. It doesn't have to be exact, as long as you're leaving about 1 inch to 1.5 inches along the edge. And there's a reason for that, and you will see that in a moment. Okay, so we got good glue coverage here. So let's go ahead and, now this is the trickiest one, is gluing the last 2 together. I want to get to those 2 first pages. See, they can come out crooked. You want to get them lined up like this. And when you're using this glue especially, you have more wiggle room, time to, you know, get it where you want it to be. So those are glued together nicely. Okay. And that was just a little bit off, so I just pushed it up there. And it's, you know, I've got the time to do that. So, okay. So there's my 3 signatures. And you always want to make sure, you know, each one is right side up. That one's right side up. That one's right side up. Okay. So now they're all glued together. And see this little gap that goes down the edge? That's what you want. And the reason for that is when you open it, see how flat that is? It's awesome. No matter what page you go to, it opens up flat. It makes it really nice for writing. Okay, so now what do we do about this? Well, I'm gonna show you. So what you do is, I mean, you could use this as your cover, this and the last, if you wanted to, and just cover these. I like to have a little more stability for my cover. So what I do is cut out, I cut out pieces from boxes or whatever that aren't too stiff. This is a little flexible, but it's still thick enough. And I like it to hang over the edge just a little bit, because as you see on these signatures, you know, my pages stick out a little bit farther than here. So I like the cover to stick out a little bit to cover that, okay? But I don't want it to go over this edge. I want it to come to about there. Okay, just right up to where it starts curving down. But I did cut it about level with the top and the bottom. That doesn't bother me but the edge, I like to come out just a little bit, as probably you do too. Okay, so before I put this on, what I want to do is pretty it up. So what I decided I'm going to do is decoupage the cover. And I need to get my little glue book over here. These pieces are for the back. I might have to get a new glue stick. I forgot that it's getting down there. Sorry, I should have done that before I started. So I'm just gonna start decoupaging this glue clear up to the corner. And what I might do is cut some of this out because I think it's going to make me go over a bit. So, and I'm doing it on this side rather than the white side because on the other side, I'm going to have a little bit showing over here. And what I'll do probably is take a piece of washi tape and just put down the edge because this is going to be glued down to that white sheet. So the rest of it doesn't matter, but I like decoupaging. I mean, what I could have done was just take a piece of, you know, those a master board and use that too. I mean, you can most definitely do that instead of, you know, doing this, but I'm just going to go ahead and decoupage this whole thing, although I'm going to be covering up some of it. Most of it, actually. But I want this whole piece to be covered. I don't want any of this cardboard underneath showing. So just go ahead and cover it. Because, you know, we're using up our scraps, right? I'm a big proponent of using up scraps. So I have so many scraps, as I'm sure all of you do. It's ridiculous. And every time I think I'm making headway, it's like I end up with more. So go figure. I probably won't cover that up because I know that piece is going to be covered. So we'll just put something under here that, you know, is not that pretty. Put here along the edge. And we'll put one more down here. We'll just put this here because I think most of that area is going to be covered. And yes, I am getting down to the bottom of my glue stick, unfortunately. Okay, so this is the front piece, and then I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and ink around the edge of it. You know, I baked, oh, there's a piece missing right there. We can't have that. Let's see, we'll put this pretty piece right here. Put it, yeah. Well, I'll just use my art glitter glue, and it's been sitting in my bottle, you guys. Upside down, like I showed you that tip the other day. Well, it hasn't been in there since then, but for the last few minutes I've had it in there, and you know, I just took it right out and used it, so it's awesome. All right, so we'll just give it a quick inking all the way around. Okay, and so there's the front one. And I think I'll go ahead and glue it on here. And I'm going to use a little bit stronger glue. I think I'll go ahead and just use my fabric tack. Put this down. This you have a lot of wiggle room on this too, so we'll just use this. I want to go right up to the edge, this edge, and maybe not quite to the edge on the other side, but and again, you want to make sure it's right side up. I've done several things upside down before, so which you may or may not have experienced, and it's no fun. Okay, so I just leave a little tiny bit here on the side. Just make sure it's all fastened down. Okay, and then like I said, you want to make sure, see, I got too much glue on the edge, so it's sticky. The one thing about the fabric tack is cool because you can just rub on it and it peels up and it just comes off. So, but you want to check that, you know, right away to make sure your pages are not glued together, because once that dries, it's going to be, you know. So how are you guys? I usually forget to ask that, and I am sorry. Let's see, let's go ahead and put something in here. Well, I think I'll wait on this, but I want to make sure that that's off of there because I don't want it to glue my pages together. Fabric tack is pretty forgiving, but you have to, you know, do this right away. Okay, so there you go. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. All right, so there's the front cover, and the back, I'm going to leave that open for a little bit. The back, we want to do the same thing. We want to decoupage, want to collage on the back also. And I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm going to get a glue stick. Okay, we're in business. Okay, so we'll just start gluing these and gluing these down. These journals have been really fun to do, and however, I'm not going to be able to do next month. I am going to have surgery on my shoulder. I have a rotary cuff tear, and the first MRI I had in the spring, you know, it wasn't too bad, but he wanted to do surgery in the spring, and I said, well, I really don't want to spend my summer recouping from surgery and have it in a sling because I've got some trips planned and blah, blah, blah. So he said, well, when do you want to do it? And I said, well, I'd rather do it in the fall. And he's like, okay, well, you do realize if you wait, you've got more chance of doing more damage. And I said, yes, I understand that. I'll try to be very careful, which I did. I mean, I tried to be careful, but since I waited, he wanted me to do another MRI. And as he predicted, the damage was worse. Not a whole lot worse, but there was more damage. And I have something going on in the bicep area also, and also have a bone spur. So he's going to take care of all of that. And so that is scheduled for September 9th, and it's only, you know, 2 weeks from today. So today's Tuesday, August 26th, and so on Tuesday, September 9th is when I'll have surgery. And he said I will be in a sling for probably 4 to 6 weeks. I don't know whether I will or not, but I know a friend of mine had the same kind of surgery with the same doctor, and he likes to take a little longer time for recuperating. But they love him. They said he's really good. He's very thorough, and you know, so there's that, and so that made me happy. It was a good recommendation, and so however long it takes. I broke my right arm in 2020 when I went to hand in my my voting at the courthouse. Was up on the 2nd floor, and I fell down the steps when I was coming down. I kind of missed a step, and you know how you kind of start running down the steps? Well, I couldn't get a hold of the railing with my left arm. I had my purse, and it was getting in the way, and so I couldn't catch a hold of the railing, and I fell down the last 5 steps. I skipped 5 steps and fell on the marble floor. And I landed mostly on my right side. Miraculously enough, I did not hit my head on the floor. It didn't even knock my glasses off. But I did land mostly on my right side, and it hurt really bad. And another cool thing was that there was an EMT right there in the courthouse. He was right down there on the bottom floor. And he came rushing up there. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, no, this lady came up to me and she goes, 'Are you okay?' And I said, 'No.'" I was practically in tears. It hurt so bad. And all I could do was sit up and scoot myself. I scoot myself over to the edge of the steps because there was one more set of steps to go down. And so I scooted myself to the top step of that set of stairs. And the EMT, they went and got their, they had a bus there. They call them a bus. And they went out and got one of their, it's like a gurney, only it's on, well, no, it was a chair, but it had a slider on it. So they put me in the chair, strapped me to it, and then slid me down the stairs on this. It was kind of like a sled, on a sled type thing. And yeah, that was not a fun experience. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. There's a little spot right here, but that's going to be covered up, so I'm not going to worry about that. So, yeah, that was not fun. And so he said, "Well, do you want to ride in the bus to the hospital?" Which was only, a few blocks away. I said, "No." I was not going to pay for an ambulance ride. And I said, "I will call my pastor," because I knew he was over, he was at his house and he was having a meeting with someone else, and he lived close by. And I called them and I told them what happened, and they came right over, gave me a ride to the hospital and waited for me there. They contacted my brother, and then my brother came to the hospital. And yeah, the break wasn't, I didn't have to have surgery or anything. They just put me in a sling, and they said, "You'll just have to wear this sling until it heals up." I broke it right under the ball joint of your shoulder. It was cracked. And so I had to wear a sling for several weeks. And that sucker really hurt. And I also banged up my right knee going down. I kind of landed on my knee also. So it was hurting really bad. And I was limping pretty bad for the first few days and had to sleep on my couch. And my cat couldn't understand what was going on. He was always wanting to get on top of me. And oh my gosh, it was... I'm sure some of you have probably been through the same type of thing or worse. So, that took me... It was a good 6 months before I was back to normal. And already I'm sorry, I'm almost at 30 minutes right now. So here's the back cover. Okay, and we're just gonna glue this puppy on. And it's about even with the front. Glued on right there. So, yeah, that was not a fun experience. And I'm not looking forward to this recovery time either. I mean, it's, I lead a Bible study, and surgery is the day before we're supposed to start Bible study. So, there's that. So I'll have to get somebody to kind of start it for me while I'm out. I'll probably only be out maybe a couple weeks before I can actually go in and sit. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Just have to take it a day at a time, right? Okay, so kind of want to get this even with the front cover. So I'm just looking here and then make sure it's even the top and the bottom, and then just press that down. I think we're pretty even there. I need to come down on it a little bit. Need to move down a little. Well, I think we're okay. All right, so get that pressed down really well. And I think I'm gonna leave this as it is. I've got some glue on the outside there, so I gotta rub that off. So next time I will continue with this video and I'll finish decorating the cover. I will show you what I'm going to do with the edge and how I'm going to decorate it up. And then hopefully I'll be able to do a walkthrough of this journal. Okay, so that's my video for today. Thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. And please hit that like button. And please, please, please leave me a comment. And hope to see you next time. Thank you for stopping by. Have a wonderful day. Bye.